All right, let's welcome in the host of the Que Golazo podcast, Luis Miguel Echegaray, with his top 4 countries to win this Winter World Cup. And so we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So coming at number 1, Brazil.
Tommy Tran, it's not that different from what you just showed from CBS Sportsbooks, but I'm switching it at the end. But let's begin with Brazil, as you started this segment. To me, they are the favorites. A few reasons why. Of course, we just saw that capitulation they did over South Korea, 5-1, and they really just jogged their way into this 5-1 result. Could have been much more. Brazil, they achieved the most points in World Cup qualifying in South America. Undefeated, by the way. Never mind about Neymar Jr., Vinicius Jr., Richarlison, Gabriel Jesus, Casemiro, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva. They have Ederson and Alisson. This is a deep squad, and I have them as favorites. And also Coach Chiche, who knows the World Cup very well, a really good manager, been there since 2016. This is his last World Cup, so the romantic in me feels that they're going to want to win the World Cup for Chiche. By the way, whenever the World Cup is played outside of Europe, Brazil do pretty well, and I think they're due for one. Brazil is my favorite to win the World Cup.
All right, number 1 in your power rankings. Number 2, the 3 Lions.
Well, I have to give some love to the nation that I love a lot, aside from Peru, and that is England. And talking about good squads, I believe that Gareth Southgate's team entering the World Cup in November, this is the most talented squad they've had since they won it in 1966. England's biggest enemy is England themselves. Can they achieve what they're supposed to do? I believe they're very good. Obviously, you see Trent Alexander-Arnold, Harry Kane pushing for that 50-goal record to match, to go up and try and get to Wayne Rooney. Of course, a long way to go for that. But by the way, they're going for their 10th straight unbeaten game as they face Hungary in the Nations League as well. But there's so much talent in this England side. And once again, the only obstacle for me from an England perspective is England themselves. I'm excited to see players like Jared Bowen, Phil Foden, of course, who, by the way, is out in this Nations League weekend due to COVID. But they have talent everywhere. You have to go for England. And because of this talent, they need to really do some noise in Qatar in November. They're my number 2.
And of course, a lot of Americans will be keeping a close eye because we're in the same group, Group B, of course, and still awaiting a playoff winner in Path A. All right, so we got 2 down, 2 to go. And then you've got France, who I mentioned has won one of the subsequent World Cups since Brazil did last in 2002.
Absolutely, and they're the defending champions of the Nations League as well. Listen, Tommy, their under-21 team can qualify for the World Cup. You will never doubt the talent that the French have. And now that Karim Benzema is back in form and back on track with the national team, how could you not root for this side? Kylian Mbappe, of course. Paul Pogba is out of the squad, by the way, in this Nations League. So now you have Aurélien Tchouameni, who's wanted and reportedly closing in on Real Madrid. Bouba Kamara, of course, moving to the greatest team the game has ever known in Aston Villa. But this is such a deep squad. Now, listen, they're going to want to shake off the hangover from Euro 2020. But because the group is similar to what they did in 2018, they should have no problem in Group D. It's more about what they do in the knockout stages. By the way, Didier Deschamps' father died this week, so there's an emotional side to the week ahead. But France, make no mistake about it, are a very united side, and they remain my number 3. Just like CBS Sportsbooks, I have them as one of the favorites. They're just too talented, too good, too ready to not do something at the World Cup in November.
All right, so those top 3, pretty consensus in terms of what you mentioned. The odds mirror that. Then 4 is where it kind of gets interesting because some would say perhaps Spain. Some would say perhaps Germany. But you, sir, are going a different direction with another country.
Tommy Tran, I'm South American. I can't just go with Europe the entire time. And by the way, Spain, they're very good. They're a piece of art to watch. They're beautiful to watch under Luis Enrique, but they don't have a killer instinct. Definitely not recently at the World Cup. So I need to wait and see what happens there. Germany, I still don't know what the project will look under Hansi Flick in his first ever World Cup with him. So I'm going to go with Argentina. And this could be Lionel Messi's final World Cup. So there's the romantic side of that. By the way, Argentina, right? I'm talking about Brazil, how good they were. Argentina pushed them to the limits in qualifiers. They've gone 32 matches unbeaten. And one of the beautiful things about Argentina is that there's no longer Messi dependencia. which is a dependency on Messi. That doesn't exist anymore. This Argentinian side shines with Messi, not because of him. They're very well balanced. Lautaro Martinez, who has 20 goals under Lionel Scaloni. You have, Rodrigo de Paul. Julian Alvarez, by the way, that can't even get into the team. Such a talented player. To me, Argentina are so good. The only worry and the only reason why I have him at 4 is because Lionel Scaloni has never managed a World Cup, and I want to see how he manages that. I know it's not a massive thing to think about, but in end-game management during, the most pressurizing of tournaments, I want to see what he does. By the way, Marcelo Bielsa's Argentina going to the 2002 World Cup, everybody was so hyped about them, and they didn't win it. So there's a little bit of a hesitancy, but make no mistake about it. Just like what they did against Italy in La Finalissima, Argentina are here to play. And Lionel Messi's possible final World Cup, if somebody says to me they're going to win it, it's hard to argue against it.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.